Welcome everyone, it's Unstoppable Streletsy with yet another Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition 1v1 casting. I decided I'd change it up a bit and do some different people this time. No shamans this time. This time we got a Korix with the British and we got Caribbean cruises with the Ottomans. It should be an interesting 1v1. Just to look at the map and notice a few things. It looks like we got the deer here, we got the Lia, so a lot of close food sources for both players. They got a mine here obviously, and they clearly have some reasonable defense against their second mine. Now if they have to push out, it's really going to become a key if they want to take over this trade route and so forth. Should be interesting to see. Let's get started. Let's go on to here. Alright. So, Ottomans. The cool thing about Ottomans is they're automatic. Automatic production of settlers. So they don't have to manage that at all. Which gives them a pretty good advantage of being able to focus on other tasks. They're great at doing late game royal decree based attacks. Spamming out lots of bombards and stuff. And on the other side we got British. Really, the main thing you do with British is just spam their manor houses, which are a little bit more costly in wood, but at the same time they produce a villager, allowing them to reach much larger numbers of settlers than is normally possible for a Civ, meaning lots of eco if done properly. The amount at which you're going to make those manors over time really depends, and managing that's very important. Interesting, so this British is actually going for a TP. That's pretty interesting because normally you would think, I'd like to spend some wood to make a manor house. The fact that he made a train post is making me thinking, yeah, he cares a lot more about shipments, perhaps. I'm going to be paying a lot of close attention to that deck. We also see Ottomans going for a train post too. That's a pretty standard thing for Ebets to do, since very common build for Ottomans is mosque, house, and trading posts, so they can get maximum XP from both the mosque and the trading posts, since they're very shipment heavy. British, starting out with 3 settlers. They do have the option to go in Virginia Company to cheapen the manor costs later on if they need to, especially considering they've gone for an early investment for a TP now. It's very possible they will go for Virginia Company as second card, since their second shipment will be coming a lot quicker than usual thanks to that TP. We do see British going for a wood treasure here. This would definitely allow British a quicker ascension of their mana production than they otherwise would with the starring TP. Whereas Ottomans are going for an XP treasure. This is really good for Ottomans since they love their shipments. The more shipments they get, the better. And let's look at the Ottoman deck to see what they have planned. So interestingly enough, we do not actually see any royal decree here. We see more or less an investment into trade routes with the Silk Road. A lot of crate shipments. We certainly see some unit shipments as well. So maybe this player is going to be focusing more on developing the trade route and spamming out lots of Jans, lots of Spahis, and artillery. So a lot more training units and a lot less of using text to acquire units. They will age up a Core Master, pretty standard. How about Brits? The Philosopher Prince? That's kind of interesting, I usually expect the Governor General to be the standard British age up, but he might be looking for more food this time. Just as I predicted, Virginia Company is coming in, combined with a bit of a food treasure too, which will certainly help in aging up earlier, or could be used to get out an earlier batch of musketeers. Thanks to Virginia Company, he can truly start to begin his manor boom, especially with the addition of Gangsaw to helping the chopping of wood. For British, it's really important to get those manor houses out. Because the more of them you get, the more eco you get, and the more you overpower your opponent. Ottomans again, yet another XP treasure. That's quite good, actually. You know, because Ottomans are going to be able to tap more into those crate shipments a lot easier now, boosted by Silk Road. Has Ottomans gone Silk Road yet? They have not. They're opting to go for the crates first, instead of boosting them up with the Silk Road initially. Which is totally fine since he has so many crate shipments he can rely on. So he's going to go with the coin first and the food second. I'm going to be yep, so it's going to be double Jannisary build. Yeah, this is a pretty popular build for the Ottomans. It's one I use a lot. The idea is you just overwhelm your enemy with so many Janissaries that they can't defend themselves. And honestly, against a musketeer spam and civ like the British, I think Janissaries, if you can keep equal numbers or greater, will generally do better since they're a lot tankier than the British musketeers are. That's just a fact, coming down the stats. And he's having no issue in really queuing them up. He can already pump out about 10 of them if he adds one more. Yep, 10. 10 Janissaries already ready. British here are going to have to come up with something fast, though, if they want to survive this. See, the problem for British right now is they only have one barracks, so he's not going to be able to keep up with them. He's going to have to play more defensively using the TC cover fire, which he might be able to do for a while. Yeah, he's opting to back off with the musketeers, letting the TC do its work on him, which it seems to be. He's already lost one Jan. Ottomans are doing their job to chase him away from the TC so he can take away those units from him, and he could also move on his trading post right after that. British, all they can really do is run for their lives, run for dear life. That's about it. And of course, adding in some longbows as well. A couple of skirmisher style units like the longbowman might give him the advantage he needs to deal with this double Janissary push. Though we do see batch number 2 of the 10 Jans coming in. If you're British right now, just run for your dear life, please. Please save the children, just run. It's not worth fighting right now. Until you can group up and get the longbowman active. Which is just, oh, well, never mind, we got the delis. The delis are going to be a serious problem. These delis are going to go right for the longbowmen and deny him the defensive advantage that the longbowmen are going to provide against the Jans. We also see Minutemen being called on the British, just an additional form of firepower to discourage Ottomans from pushing in now. What sorts of cards they could certainly ship in more red coats. They could also get some wood to add in more settlers they're going to need for their eco. But right now, it's just a matter of survival. Yeah, they need to find something to do here to survive this. If I'm British right now, I'm thinking, can I survive this assault on my town center? Can I deter him? The answer is probably not. The issue is you got way too many Janissaries on the Ottoman side. He is fortunate enough right now that Ottomans are not mining right now, so the queue for Jans is stalled at least for now. He just has to deal with this gigantic batch on his side here attacking him. British, just keep running, kiting him if you possibly can. Try to stay near the town center and work your way back, because the town center fire is always going to give you an advantage. Ottomans? Since he doesn't have any coin, he's basically forced into making AZAPs. Now, I don't think that this is, I don't know, not the smartest idea because, well, they are more of a pike and anti-dragoon unit, so maybe he's just looking for a bit of extra siege. At this point, I would still just move some of my settlers down here to one of these mines if it was me. You know, the Jannisary is a much more hard-hitting unit in this matchup than the AZAPs are. Yeah, and look at this. I mean, technically the Jans have even more siege than the AZAPs do, so I mean, you don't even have that siege advantage that the pikemen normally have. And you're basically just throwing resources. problem with British, though, is that they just don't have the resources coming in anymore. He's been pinned to his town center so much right now. You need to get these Ottomans away so you can gather something like this. Yes, exactly. Keep them distracted while not losing too much of your army, which you need to hold on to. I know this is hard. I know you're probably thinking about many things in your head right now, but you just need to keep some sort of gathering going so you can keep producing some units to resupply yourself with. You got a bit of a... Never mind. It looks like Ottomans finally did get onto that coin I was talking about. So now you really do have a serious risk of dying right now to a large number of Janissaries that you just don't have the forces to deal with. And it looks like here he's just not in a good position of defending right now. This sort of a map setup of having the river choking you off a bit and making a straightaway for the Janissaries to run right in with that forward base is not ideal for you. You know, and Ottomans basically control good portion of the map right now. I mean, Ottomans basically have this entire set of mines at their disposal. Even though British are taking advantage of the lack of line of sight here to go for a hunt, which is pretty smart. I mean, you know your Ottoman opponent is all busy over here, so if you can snag a hunt in over here, that's pretty good. You can get need all the food you can get. Quite impressive, but just not enough. I mean, it's a math game at this point. 20 Janissaries with more queuing in constantly. You can't hold on to this forever, man. I mean, not to mention you just don't have the coin to keep the queue going. You have the food to do it. And you could probably trade a bit at the market to keep a queue going, but even then your barracks is being sieged. And that big army I was talking about is just gone, you know? It's just dispersed. Attack for the settlers, I mean, at this point you could basically throw anything at the fire at this point and you're still on fire. Right? There's really not much you can do. Trying to retreat? Not probable. I mean, our Ottoman friend here is very attentive, so he's not going to let you get away that easily, I don't think. I mean, he's not going to let you slip out there unscathed. Trying to plan the retreat, trying to get the settlers to get some extra shots in with their blunderbusses. Just not enough, though. Would you think this would do anything? I don't think it would do anything. Even 700 would. GG for both sides. I mean, I think in general, Ottomans outplayed the British in this matchup. They stuck to the 2 Barracks Jannisary Rush build really well. As a Double Barracks Jannisary player myself, I would say he followed it to a T. Perfect start with the church and trading post and house and all the way through. British, just make sure next time you try to think more of defense next time and make sure you scout a bit here so you know the barracks is up there. Otherwise, GG. Take a look at the post-game really super duper quick. Yeah, I mean, yep, see, the Ottomans just were getting more resources out in the end, and military, yep, more units equals more kills. Well, actually, they didn't get it. The British Guard did more kills thanks to their TC, but the numbers were just way too much that sieging was the thing. Anyways, good work, both of you. Hope to see more from these players in the future. As always, hoping to get more of D3 games casted for this wonderful variant of AoE 3. See you next time.